Welcome aspiring website builders and creative enthusiasts to Mastering Elementor, the ultimate comprehensive tutorial series. So in our previous tutorial, we saw that how you can set multiple column layout in the page before you start using different widgets of the Elementor. Now in this tutorial, we'll see some of the basic and some of the most used widgets of Elementor, and we'll see how to use them. So before we start using the widget, let's quickly create a 2-column layout just for the sake of this example. Then let's click on this 9 dots here, and then we'll see the list of all the widgets which are available to us. Let's get started with the heading widget. So heading widgets, as the name suggests, is used to add an heading to any section of your page. So I'll just click on it, drag and drop here, and you see there is a placeholder heading here which says add your heading text here. So this is a placeholder text. Let's say I want to change the text of this heading to heading 1, right? So I can easily do that using this title section. So every widget which you will be using in Elementor will be divided into 3 sections. The first section will talk about the content of that widget. The second section will talk about the styling of the widget, and the third part will talk about the advanced settings which are related to that particular widget. So first we want to change the content of the heading. We'll do that by changing the text here in this text title field. Then if we want to hyperlink the text of your heading, you can easily do that by adding that link here in the field which says link. Then we can also change the size of the heading. Currently it's set to default. Then we can also change the HTML tag which is associated with this particular heading. You can either make it h1, h2, h3, h4. You can set the heading tag as well. Then you can also change the text alignment. Currently it's left aligned. Then we can also make it center aligned, we can make it right aligned, or we can justify the text alignment as well. So for the sake of this tutorial, let's keep it as a left aligned heading. Then comes the styling part of this particular heading. So what we can do when it comes to styling of the heading, so we can change the color of the text. You can do so by clicking on here. If you have the specific color code, you can type that color code here. If not, you can just select the color. Let's say I want a color, let's go with this color. Okay, I'm happy with this. So this is how we can change the color of the heading. Then if I want to change the typography of the heading, I can do so by clicking on the pencil icon from where it says typography. In typography, I'll click on the pencil icon and an edit menu will open up. The first option says that I can change the family or the font family of the heading. Currently it's English. I can click on the drop down and see what are the different fonts available. So based on my preference, I'll select any font. Let's say I want to select this particular font. I'll select that. I'm not happy with it. I have to click on it again, and then I can select any other font which I feel. Let's go with this font. Okay, this looks good. Then again we go to typography. We can change the size of the heading. Let's keep the heading size to 35. Then we can change the weight of the text. Currently it's semi-bold. If you want to increase the font weight, we can do so. Let's do it 900 right now. Okay, 900 is not supported in this particular font, so let's try a different font. Let's go with Mulish only. Okay, so here now you can see the difference in font weight on changing the font weight. Then we can transform the heading. We can keep the heading all in upper cases or all in lower cases, or let's say if I want to capitalize, that is the first alphabet of the word of every word will be capital. We can do so. We can add styling. We can make it normal, italic, or let's say oblique if you want to. Let's keep it normal right now. Then we can also add some decoration, like if you want to add an underline to your heading, you can do so. If you want to add an overline, line through, or none of them. Then we can also change the line height. So let's say if your heading is very long, you can adjust the line height, letter spacing. You can adjust very easily from here. Then you can also adjust the spacing between the different words which are there available in your heading. So this was all about editing the typography of your heading. Then if you want to add a text stroke, you can easily do that from here by clicking on this pencil icon besides the text stroke option. Then if you want to add a shadow to your text, you can do so by clicking on this pencil icon besides the text shadow option. So for example, if I click it here, I can easily set the blur of the shadow. I can easily set the X or the horizontal alignment of the shadow. I can also easily adjust the vertical alignment of the shadow. So let's set it to default right now. We don't want any shadow for this tutorial. Then comes the advanced option. So in advanced option, as we saw in the previous tutorial, you can add some margin to the heading, you can add some padding to the heading. Then you can add a CSS ID and add a custom CSS code from the last option here in the advanced section if you want to. If you know CSS, you can do it. If you don't want to do it, it's not necessary, it's always an add-on. Then you can see an option which says responsive. So this responsive option is also very helpful when you are making your web page responsive for different types of devices. So let's say I want to keep this particular element only on desktop. So what I'll do, I'll hide it on tablet and mobile. So when I click on the mobile view, as we saw in the previous tutorial, you see the heading will not be visible, right? So this is what the responsive option does. Let's disable it for now. When we'll be working on some mini projects, we'll be definitely using it, right? Then we can also add a background to your heading. If you want to, you can do that from here. We don't want it right now. So this was the basic overview that how you can use the heading. So the basic structure which you saw for the heading element was content, styling and advanced will be very much similar to all other elements as well. So there will be some changes here and there based on the type of the element which you are using, but it will be very similar and it will be very close for heading and text, right? Since both are text based elements, so the designing and the styling part remains very much the same. So for the sake of this tutorial, let's drag and drop the text widget as well. So again, you can see in the content you have an option to add the text here in the text box. Then you can set the columns gap if you want to. Then if I get to the styling part for the text editor, you can see there are similar options. You can set the alignment of the text to left, center, right or justified or whatever you want it to be. For now let's keep it left. Then you can also change the text color similar to how you did for the heading. Then you have a typography option which is exactly same what we had for the heading. You can change the font family, font size, font weight, transform your text, add some styling, decoration, adjust the line height, adjust letter spacing and word spacing, etc. Let's not go there right now since we have already discussed this just a few minutes back. Then you can also add some text shadow. You go to advanced, you can add some margin, you can add some padding, you can add some the z index, css id, css classes. If you want to add a custom css, you can set the responsive nature of this particular element, and there are some other options which we'll not explore right now since we are just covering the basics right now. So just to keep in mind, we might be missing out on some few things right now. So for example, we are skipping the motion effects part, we are skipping the transform part, we are skipping the border or masking part, right? So these things are something which you should learn at a later stage once you are very much clear about the basics of Elementor. So don't worry about that. In this complete tutorial series, once we are done with the basic elements, we'll start working on some mini projects just to get a hang of them, and then we'll start exploring these complex elements as well, because they are not the basic necessities for you to learn Elementor. So it's not useful to spend your time and energy on these things right now. Let's first just understand that how the basic things work and how you can create a web page with your basic skill set, right? So this was about heading and the text editor widget. So this what we discussed will be very much similar when it comes to text based elements. In the next tutorial we'll see how to use buttons and how to customize it. we'll see how to use image, how to customize it, and then gradually we'll cover all the widgets of Elementor. Thank you for watching this tutorial. If you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, and make sure you see all the videos in this tutorial playlist from the very beginning to the end. This is the ultimate Elementor masterclass tutorial series. So it's very helpful if you want to start learning Elementor from the scratch and you want to start building web pages without writing a single line of code.